Good morning. Welcome to your Thursday morning intuitive guidance. It's early, but it's good we're starting a few minutes early because we have a longer reading today. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some words of wisdom that dovetail in so many cool ways that there are no accidents. There just are no accidents. So I'm going to give you a little story on the front end. Good morning, Cindy. Glad you're here. In terms of the question I was posing to the universe as I was walking TJ home this morning. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. And then testing for the card deck and kind of being surprised that this is the one that popped up. Going to shuffle the cards, and the card on the bottom of the deck kind of said, nope, I'm the one. You don't need to shuffle, here I am. And yesterday's Tony Robbins Become Unshakable video, I only watched about a half an hour of it. I think I've got like 2 hours to go. I mean, he's going long on these things. And the little piece I got in the half an hour, again, dovetails beautifully with the card and with my question. So my question was, little background, my sister came to town yesterday. We were working on the house we're flipping here, and as is typical, she and I got into it about making decisions about when certain things needed to be taken care of. And my feeling was, and I know this wasn't her intention, but because of how she communicates, this is what came across. What you're interested in, what's important to you, doesn't matter. So I went about doing other things. I explained why I thought what I thought was important now, but then I went about doing other things. And so after listening to the Tony Robbins stuff, and he was talking yesterday about vulnerability and strength, on my way home with the dog this morning, I was kind of chatting with the universe and put out there, how do I integrate divine feminine strength? I know how to bull my way through things divine masculine style, but I've now learned how to do the soft divine feminine, but I have no idea how to stand in the strength of the divine feminine and allow that to support me in what I'm here to accomplish. So that was kind of what I was going around and around with the universe on this morning, and then picked our card deck. Some of you are not going to be surprised. Wild Kuan Yin by Alana Fairchild. And good morning to whomever else just popped on. And Carolyn, glad you're here. Glad you're here. So these cards are a little longer, but they are so in-depth and powerful that, and this one is absolutely perfect. So let's just take a couple of nice deep breaths to settle in, to really soak up this information. Because again, it runs counter to what we've been trained to do. And I really think the more we can soak this up and live from this perspective, the better off we're going to be. So a couple of nice deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. All right, so here is our card for today. What a lovely card. I'm going to move it closer so you can see their faces. Look at those beautiful faces. This is the grandmother of love and the granddaughter of life. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So settle in, let's go for a ride. I am the grandmother of love. I am wisdom. I am the ability to learn from experience that helps you become free of repeating patterns and empowers you to direct your energy in new and more fulfilling pathways. And that pattern thing was exactly what Tony Robbins was talking about yesterday. So he talked about us creating emotional fitness. And that's what I see elders as having accomplished, an emotional fitness. They're unflappable. They don't get buffeted by life the way some of the rest of us do who haven't attained that level of equanimity and magnanimity. So he was talking talking about, I'm going to do the Tony Robbins piece first, and then I'm going to jump back into our card. He was talking about an awareness that rough times are not forever. They may be a long chunk of time. If you look at like the Great Depression, we got 10 years, or a war that's usually several years. But rough times are not forever. And then he said something that was really shocking. Good times create weak people. Good times create weak people. No challenges means no growth. And he was lamenting how the youngest generation he sees as having a deficit with regard to this because they haven't been pushed. Things have been relatively easy for them. Now we hit the pandemic, and that actually may be a saving grace because it created the challenges against which they're going to push that create that personal growth. So he was also talking about a book. Well, first he said, life demands we become more. The challenges of life are demanding that we become more. I loved that. And he was talking about this book, Generations, which I haven't read, so I'm going to get because it sounds like it's pretty awesome. And he said, if something starts to get to you, so, good morning, Pat, welcome, welcome. Yesterday, my conversation with my sister got to me. I went from a pretty high energy day to dragging butt again. So something in there, what he says is if something starts to get to you, there's something in you that needs to grow. If something starts to get to you, there's something in you that needs to grow. And that's a different way of saying what I've said for a long time, which is your soulmate is not that person who finishes your sentences. Your soulmate is the person who can provoke you. So my sister's obviously one of my soulmates, can provoke you, and then you can see where you haven't grown enough, where you still have a wound that needs healing, all right? And I love this. If something starts to get to me, there's something in me that needs to grow, and now I have a worthy opponent. So that soulmate that's going to pull forth from you a higher order being, all right? Oh, there we go. Thank you, thank you. So he put the link for the book in there for us. I should hire you to do all this stuff. This is awesome. And he says, if you're going to dislodge an old pattern, you're going to need more energy. So thus the firing ourselves up kind of thing. So let's see what Grandmother of Love is continuing to tell us here. And I want to show you this card just once more because a few people popped on before or since I showed you. So it's the Grandmother of Love and the Granddaughter of Life. Aren't they beautiful? I just think they're awesome. Okay, so here we go. The remainder of the Grandmother of Love. Look within your heart and trust in the wisdom you find there. It is guiding you now out of your past patterns and onto a path of more happiness and freedom. There's the wise sage. And now I am the Granddaughter of Life. I am potential. I see what the future can be, and within me there is a seed of life that must grow into fullness. Trust me, I am within you. I am your energy, ding, 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 curiosity and instinct to grow. For me, life is ever new, an unfolding adventure, and I trust that I will be guided to fulfill my destiny. Even that, isn't that a powerful statement? I trust I will be guided to fulfill my destiny. We're not out there flailing on our own, even though sometimes we feel like it. We are being guided. So here's the rest of it. And again, we've got quite a few pages, but just breathe and receive. There's so much good stuff here. You are a wise being. You have within you a capacity to understand and learn from your past choices and experiences, along with a willingness to apply that learning to new choices and behaviors. This is spiritual intelligence with which you are greatly blessed. When you believe in yourself and your own heart wisdom, you will make great strides on your path. You are, in fact, able to travel far on your spiritual journey. Morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. Very successfully this lifetime, to make great gains in your overall soul growth and spiritual progression. If you're following anybody, any of the readers, any of the seers, they're all talking about this being a time of vast acceleration. Kind of the hold on to your butts, here we go. But you must trust yourself for this to happen. You are asked in that trust to give up any notion of the right choice or perfection. We're aiming for good enough here. Right now, we're aiming for good enough. Wisdom is acquired through learning. To the human mind, that involves making mistakes, but to the soul, mistakes don't exist. There is only life experience that can ultimately contribute to the creation of wisdom. And again, I think about Thomas Edison, who said, I haven't failed. I just come up with 10,000 ways a light bulb won't work. Beautiful perspective, right? Because what does it do? It keeps you trying, all right? The only failure we have is when we give up, when we quit. And that isn't the same thing as making a decision to step away from something. Sometimes that is the wisdom. That is the wisest thing to do. But that's different than throwing up your arms and quitting, okay? When the oracle of grandmother of love, granddaughter of life comes to you, it is with this specific guidance. Give up judging yourself for your past. Could be. Carolyn asks if the granddaughter of life is an inner child. And I think there's aspects of that, and I think there's more that will be said about that will help illuminate the whole thing. Give up judging yourself for your past, for your struggles, for what has been. This is even for times when you perhaps believe you have let yourself or another down, for missed opportunities, or when you believe you have failed in some way. Again, there is no such thing as failure. Just keep learning. All of that is just food for the soul to digest so it can become more empowered, more open, more present, and willing to engage more with life. It is not what you have done that matters. It is what you do now. It is not who you believe yourself to have been that matters. It is how you choose to be now. Give yourself that wisdom, that permission to accept that for your potential to become all it can be, it must go through life. And that means missteps and struggles as much as it means graceful flight. Sometimes we do a faceplant. Yes, more encouragement. Absolutely, absolutely. This is a great card. I think you're going to feel very filled up by the time we're done with the card, Cindy. The colt who will become a swift and sure-footed stallion will still need to go through having an ungainly wobble until it gets used to its legs. In the bigger scheme of things, those wobbles, as humiliating and challenging as they may seem in the moment, shall only be a small sentence, not even a whole paragraph or chapter in the greater story of your soul. If you have been punishing yourself in any way for a decision you have made in your life, or for some perceived failure or other, you are asked to adopt a more soulful perspective. Dispense with regrets, guilt, or shame as soon as you can give yourself permission to do so. Rather, ask yourself what can be learned, what can be forgiven, how can you love here instead, and then move on, gently, firmly, lovingly. Just as a child naturally moves on from infancy to the next stages of life, and the soul naturally grows in wisdom, compassion, and love with the process of life experiences, right? Need a drink, hang on. I hope you're grooving on this the same way I am. This is awesome stuff. Within you is great energy and wisdom, potential, and the means for its fulfillment. Just as the acorn holds within it the template and instinct to become an oak tree, so too within you is a natural pattern for growth that honors your soul, your own unique life purpose. That innate intelligence understands what has to happen for you to fulfill your divine destiny. It doesn't have to be controlled or directed or even understood in advance. It just needs to be heeded and trusted. Now that one resonates for me. I hope it resonates for you. Good morning, Mel. So let me read that little part again. Your innate intelligence understands what has to happen for you to fulfill your divine destiny. It doesn't have to be controlled or directed or even understood in advance. It just needs to be heeded and trusted. That's powerful. This oracle comes to you with guidance. Within you there is a seed that wishes to grow, something that wants to develop into fullness, and it requires learning from your own past experiences to be applied so new potential can come to fruition. Do not be scared to do things differently now. Do not be scared to break new ground and rely on your intuition and instincts even more than you ever have before. If you simply trust in what you have learned, trust in the guiding feelings and wisdom of your own heart, you shall progress very well indeed. So I'm thinking about that with regard to a luncheon that I have today. It's a woman I met recently and then a friend of hers who she thinks I need to get to know. Good morning, Kelly. Glad you're here. And I'm like, I'm all over this. This is how things happen. This is how doors open. This is how we find and connect with the people we're meant to walk a path with for a period of time. The universe is loving at its heart. It provides us with the training we need to progress through each life experience. You have been perfectly prepared through your life experiences to take the next steps on your journey now, to bring that which is within you into fullness in the world. It will take time, but it will happen. Remember that always within you is the change to begin again, or the chance to begin again. Start anew, to be fresh and open, to align yourself with the divine child within. There it is, Carolyn. Yep. In this sense, you can choose to never age. Whilst you can gain wisdom through your maturity, you never have to feel you have done all you can do, and that's that. That may not always seem comfortable, but if you can accept it, then you will grow throughout life, keeping the ancient wise one and the energetic child within ever stronger in bond. And again, it's not an either or, it's an and. So we are that wise one and we are that innocent child at the same time. So that's kind of answering my question of how do I do the divine masculine, pushing forward, making stuff happen, and the divine feminine strength piece. So we're going to have the sprinter and the endurance runner. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. If you cannot accept this, then it is just age that will claim you rather than living. And you are capable of so much more than just growing older. And there's a guy I follow, Chip Conley, who always talks about that. Are you going to grow into your wisdom self, or are you just going to get old? You have a choice. This oracle comes to you with an additional message. No matter how old you are or how young, no matter at what age stage in life you may think you're supposed to be at, you are being asked to clear your mind of such expectations or judgments and instead be with yourself where you are. Some souls are early bloomers. Others reach their fullness later in life. Some find love in the first blush of youth. Others, when many say true love by then should have happened or it will not at all. Again, all those limiting thoughts. Yes, we want to be living. We don't want to just be existing. Yep. Let's see here. The universe has a plan for you, and all needs are fulfilled according to divine genius, and loving wisdom. All things happen according to a timing that benefits the greater garden of life. How short-lived that garden would seem if all the flowers bloomed at once and then it was over. I'm glad you need to hear this. I need to hear this. Let's hold space for each other to really hear it and live it. It is part of a greater plan by the divine cosmic gardener, planting certain quick and slower flowering plants in different parts of the garden for greatest beauty and delight. And if you think about that, you can see that. You can see the people who kind of peaked in high school. They're done. They did their thing. There are those of us who were kind of the nerds in school and nobody paid attention to, and we didn't come into our own until later. I didn't really begin to come into my own until college and then graduate school. Raising kids kind of put a pause on things because it was so hectic. But now again, finding another period of growth in what many would view as you're all washed up, it's old, you're old, blah, blah, blah. Good morning, Catherine. Glad you are here. Good to see you. I love seeing all the new people popping in. We've got our old guard who've been here forever, and then we've got some new people coming on. That is awesome. I gotta show you the card again, because those of you who've just popped on, you just gotta see this card. Look at those faces. Are they not awesome? The grandmother of love and the granddaughter of life. All right. The Oracle of Grandmother of Love, Granddaughter of Life also comes to you with this message. Any beliefs that you cannot or should not follow your dreams because of age, roles, gender, or religious background, or any other issue are to be put aside now. Let that shit go. It does not serve us. Life happens as and when it shall, according to a natural intelligence for growth. Again, if you try to rush things, the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis, you try to help that butterfly get here faster, it is handicapped for life. It is totally disabled. It has to go through that struggle in order to become all it's meant to be. Think about that for us. We have to go through our struggles, the divine struggles that have been picked out just for us, whether it's a divorce, whether it's loss of a child, whether it's a health challenge, whether it's loss of a job, whatever it is, we have been chosen to experience those particular difficulties, losses, grief, in order to become who we're supposed to be. That's our breaking out of the chrysalis. And again, if we abort that effort in some way, we are never going to be what we could have been had we gone through the struggle. All right? I love this part here. What if your light is meant to shine so bright and powerful that it is best utilized during a time of much darkness in the world? Where are we at right now? A whole lot of darkness going on. Yes, you can listen to this one again and again and again. I agree. Because we need to train our brains. Tony Robbins has been talking about that. We need to train our brains to soak up this kind of information, not the other crud, this stuff. Good morning, Susie. Glad you are here. We are doing Grandmother of Love, Granddaughter of Life. And it is an amazing card. So, shining our light, best utilized when there's much darkness in the world. So then you may have to wait for the night to deepen before your light reaches its zenith. What if your flower is meant to blossom quickly, so those at a certain point in their journey can see you, gain hope, and keep traveling on the path to witness those later blooming flowers that will be ready for them when they are ready too? Or rather, you are meant to bloom and surrender into the void only to rise and bloom again over and over again throughout this lifetime. I kind of feel like that's my path. Ah, yes. Trust timing and defy all conventions and expectations, including those that relate to age. These are the messages of this oracle. So, and we have things that kind of mirror that. The Red Hat Society, various things that break agreement with when you get old, you just curl up, get dry and dust, and die. Yeah, no, not buying that one. We're going to be vibrant and vital, and we have a huge place in this world, much to offer. This card also brings a message that it is never too late. It is never too late to begin something. It is never too late to finish something. It is never too late to love. It is never too late to let go. It is never too late to trust. It is never too late to forgive. It is never too late to decide to just be happy in the moment and free yourself of past judgment, pain, or suffering. It is never too late. I love that. You always have this moment, right here, right now. In between all that has been in the past and all that can be in the future, there is this moment, a space where you have absolute power of choice. So why not allow yourself to choose peace, to choose trust, and to do so now? If you have been suffering from fatigue or depression, feeling overwhelmed with responsibility or burned out, feeling old before your time, so to speak, then this oracle also brings a message to take some time to replenish yourself by connection with the child within. Again, this child is potential. This child is that acorn full of potential. All right? This may be through play, breaking your routine, or exploring a new place. I think silliness is a good thing. Try on some silliness. Let's be silly, okay? That helps. If you have lost a child or lost contact with the child within, the ability to be open, curious, and playful, then, this oracle comes with confirmation that the child in question is just fine. I know who that message is for. I hope you hear it, dear. The child in question is just fine. That child is alive and well, whether within a body or as a soul in the spiritual world, and even just living as a voice in your own heart. If you have been suffering from anxiety or panic, feeling uncertain of your ability or lacking in confidence, man, you're speaking to me, then you are guided to soothe the child within. Make a note of all the tasks you have managed to accomplish thus far. I'll show you that. So, since I moved down here, I wrote down a list of all of the bigger things and some little stuff too that I took steps to do because I was feeling like I'm not getting anywhere here. Yes, I am. And there they are, written right down so I can read them when I need them. All right? Make a note of all the tasks you have managed to accomplish thus far. Look back over your life and see all you have done, from the most mundane examples to the most challenging phases of spiritual or emotional healing you have come through. You have survived. A ta-da list. Oh, I like that. That's a great title. A ta-da list. Look what I did. I love that. You have survived. You are dedicated to growing. You are brave. And one of the things Tony Robbins said about that word brave and courage, you can't be courageous unless you felt fear. Fear is necessary for you to feel courageous. Isn't that a cool insight? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true. If you're feeling no fear, it doesn't call for courage. You just go do whatever. If you feel the fear and you do it anyway, you are courageous. I love that. You deserve to have confidence and trust in yourself. You may need to remind yourself of this to feel the wise elder within you, even if sometimes you feel more like a child still finding its way through the world. And the more we can tolerate the unknown, the willingness to make mistakes, to screw stuff up. Oh, good. I'm glad it's empowering and comforting at the same time. Love it, love it, love it. Look at kids. They screw stuff up all the time. They fall off their bike. They skin their knee. They can't tie a shoe. They don't know how to feed themselves. They're a mess by the time they're done eating by themselves. It takes the practice to learn that stuff, right? We're not going to sit down at a piano and play like a virtuoso. Some people may, and those who do, I think they probably were a virtuoso in another lifetime. Just my opinion. So, we're getting to our healing process here. Let's see. The following healing process below will assist with integrating all of these messages. Cool, right? Because I'm sure several of you, I'm feeling this way too. Like, I have to read this again. I have to watch the YEMIG again because there's all this stuff in there and I want to make sure I'm hanging on to it. I want to take some notes. I want to, whatever. Okay? So here's the healing process. So it says, gaze at the card for several moments. So I'm going to hold the ladies up here so you can see them. Just gaze at them. And then we're going to say this following prayer. And the way I'm going to do it is I will say it, a part of it, and then you can repeat it out loud. All right? Grandmother of love. Granddaughter of life. Kuan Yin, who loves me unconditionally, as enthusiastic child and wise elder. I call upon you now. Please help me to trust in my own timing, in the greater timing of all of my life cycles, my dreams and my plans, and of my own divine becoming. Help me to let go and trust that life loves me and wants me to grow. Help me to trust in my own wisdom and in my own potential. And bless me with your merciful grace. I shall be all that I am destined to be. I have no need to fear. I trust myself, I trust love, and I trust life. I trust in your loving help and protection now. So be it. And I'll type the prayer in the feed so that you have it with this. And it says, if you need to repeat the prayer 2 or 3 times to really feel it, then do so. So, and excuse me, something I like to do is take my phone and find the little recorder thing and read this in my voice to myself. And then I can play it back for me over and over again and hear me saying to me these things. All right? Place your right and left hands together in prayer position. So go ahead and do that. I got to hold the book, but place your right and left hands together, prayer position. Okay? Be present in all things and thankful for all things. Amen. You betcha. Okay, so your hands are in prayer position. Imagine that your right hand is the hand of the child within, that child of life. And your left hand is the hand of the wise elder within, the grandmother of love. Feel the gentle push and holding of one hand against the other. The love and responsiveness of these 2 parts of you manifesting through your hands. The and, they're both there. They're both you, all right? Send love from your heart to your hands and gently smile and acknowledge these 2 beautiful parts of you. I'll show you them again. There they are. I just love that. Send love from your heart to your hands and gently smile and acknowledge these 2 beautiful parts of you. Once you've completed your prayer, place your hands in the prayer position at your forehead, gently bowing your forehead to your thumbs. So, right? You have completed your healing process. How was that? Wow, huh? Some pretty awesome stuff there. And again, I firmly believe there are no accidents. There is divine unfolding. There's a reason why my sister and I had that little miscommunication yesterday. There's a reason why I was asking the universe as I was out walking the dog this morning, how do I integrate this? There's a reason why Tony Robbins was talking yesterday about paying attention to the things that, good morning, Kathy, glad you're here, the things that push your buttons as a sign that there's something there as yet unhealed. And it's the opportunity to work with that worthy opponent to heal that, to learn what you need to learn there, to become unshakable, unflappable. That's one of the things I like about wise older people. They're just unflappable. Crap's going down around them and they're just maintaining. They know they have a bigger picture that all will turn out well. All's going to turn out fine. They still advocate for what they think is important. They still do the things that they're called to do, but they're not all wound around their own axle with regard to, we're going to hell in a handbasket, everything sucks, blah, blah. They're not Chicken Little. The sky's falling, the sky's falling. Okay? So, the other thing I loved about the Tony Robbins thing is yesterday's call, 1.4 million people on that call. 1.4 million. We are ready for this. We are ripe for change. We are ready to open our eyes, our spiritual eyes, see through new lenses, make changes, be uncomfortable. We are willing to be uncomfortable and grow. Think about growing pains. Do you remember that when you were a kid and your shins hurt? And for the girls, when you started to develop, that was not a fun process, right? But it was necessary. It was necessary to help us become who we were meant to be. There was pain and discomfort involved in that. Think about exercise. When you fatigue a muscle, it's not a happy feeling, is it? But we've come to learn that fatiguing that muscle and experiencing that discomfort gets us where we want to go. Giving birth, that's not a comfortable process. You know, I mean, they can drug the heck out of you, but it's not a comfortable process. Even when you do it very naturally, even if you're in a place where it's still far more of a natural process instead of a medical process, there's discomfort, right? What do you end up with? This beautiful kid, right? So if you look across our lifespans, you will find example after example after example that the process of growth includes pain, includes discomfort, and I think that is by design. So we've really run ourselves amok. We've run our ship onto the sandbar with regard to trying to negate all pain. We need to use it as a lesson. So I'll give you an example from way back when. I had an uncle who was paralyzed, and he was a mechanic, and not being able to feel from the waist down was a dangerous thing. There was a time when he set a piece of metal that he had been welding on his leg, burned his skin, didn't realize he was burning his skin until he smelled burning flesh. There was no pain message to tell him to move it. So pain is useful. Pain is useful. That doesn't mean those who are in chronic, significant pain don't take your pain meds, but I think it certainly means pay attention. What is that pain wanting you to know? And yes, there's the whole physical explanation of what's going on. Well, my L3 is out of whack, blah, blah, blah. See if you can take a spiritual perspective to it also. Go for a bigger picture with regard to that pain. And one of my favorite resources, let me dig her out here, is Louise Hay, Heal Your Body. And I have a friend, morning Diane, we're just about to the end here. I'm not sure if you're just jumping on now, but you're going to want to watch this one. There is a direct message in there from your daughter. This book is amazing. And I had a friend, Jerry, who passed away a while back. But she used to say, dig out that damn purple book and tell me what blank means. And every time I'd read for her, whether it was shoulder or elbow or whatever it was, she'd roll her eyes and huff and puff. But the message was spot on. The message was spot on. So, again, it kind of goes back to that, what are we pretending not to know? We know. We know. All right, so your mission for today, should you choose to accept it, is I want you checking in with these two. I want you checking in with the grandmother of love and the granddaughter of life. And I want you to have a conversation with each of them. You may decide to talk to them separately. You may decide to talk to them together. Go plop yourself with them here at the table and have a conversation. Have a conversation with them. See what they want you to know. Ask them, what do you need to tell me? What do I need to hear from you? All right. That was long, but it was awesome. I hope you really soaked up some good stuff today, because this is really, it was spot on for me. I'm really excited. I'm probably going to watch this again too, just for my own edification. Have an awesome day. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.